Hi, I am Dr. L. Carol Scott, a trauma-informed developmental psychologist who brings you the SAS, Self-Aware Success Strategies for getting along on all the adult playgrounds where you play today. And this video focuses on the fine art of negotiation. And when I say fine art, I mean negotiation like a 4-year-old. So why would you want to learn how to negotiate like a 4-year-old? Because they're masters at it. The first time we start using the strategy of negotiation, it's about the age of 4. And if you've ever seen a 4-year-old trying to get what he wants out of someone, you have seen a boss at negotiation. What makes a 4-year-old really good at negotiation is that they're seeking the win-win. They understand that getting what they want also includes making sure that the other person gets something they want. So what happens if you tried to negotiate like that when you were 4 years old and you were met with resistance, with adults who had the my way or the highway way of parenting? Well, then you learned other strategies. Instead of negotiation, you learned how to manipulate people, to bully people, to play the victim, and be so pitiful that people just have to give you what you want. Those aren't very attractive ways to get what you want, and they never work long-term as a relationship strategy. So let's take a look at the 4-year-old's approach to the win-win and see if you can learn to negotiate like a 4-year-old now. 4-year-olds are finally understanding that what they want and what other people want are different. That every person has goals and things that they're seeking to make good for themselves, and they have different goals. Each person is unique in what they want. But they're also finding out that what we want can intersect or play nicely with what somebody else wants, and they're using that to their advantage. Let's take a look at a classic example of an adult offering a 4.5-year-old child something to eat for snack. And the parent or the teacher or the grandparent says, "Would you like a fruit cup and some cheese cubes? Or would you like some celery sticks and peanut butter?" And the child says, "I'd like a fruit cup and some crackers and peanut butter, please." Now, think about what they're doing. They're very artfully thinking inside the adult's box. If you think about what the adult offers as being inside a set of limits, they know they're not going to go to the store to shop before this snack, so it has to be in the house. They know what the child had for breakfast maybe, or what's expected of a nutritious day's food overall, or where they're going out to dinner that night, or something else that defines what's acceptable for this snack. So what the 4-year-old is learning how to do is to shoot a theoretical arrow, if you will, a version of what they want into the inside of the adult's box of limits. And you can literally think of a box containing what the adult is willing to do, with all of those sides being the limits of not going to the store, needs to be nutritious and healthy, needs to fit with the meal plan of the day, whatever they are. Agreements that they have with other people, maybe things related to the child's allergies or, conditions in the body that mean that they should or shouldn't have a certain kind of nutrient at this point in the day. So the 4-year-old says, I'm going to try to ask for what I really want, which is different from what I've been offered, in a way that stays inside the adult's preferences, what they're willing to do. So to get to the win-win, a 4-year-old child comes up with an idea and asks for it. And the wise adult who wants to support the development of a great strategy of negotiation for that preschooler is they'll say, "Wow, good negotiating, kiddo. I can absolutely give you that, and here's why. Because it's just as nutritious as what I offered you. All the things that I need to make it are right here." They can validate for the child that they have successfully negotiated inside the limits that the adult has. If they don't, if they're a my way or the highway kind of adult, or they think that you shouldn't let children have what they want for some other reason besides the fact that they're just rigid about what they've offered, then depending on whether the child gets support for the negotiation or learns that it's not okay to negotiate and they have to do what the adult says, then the child will either develop a strong strategy for win-win negotiating, or they'll develop one of those alternative strategies like manipulation of other people. When I was a young adult, my strategy for getting what I wanted was to ask you a series of questions, to back you into a corner, if you will, by finding out if you could do what I wanted. So instead of saying, I need a ride tomorrow, or I'd like a ride tomorrow, or I want a ride tomorrow, I would say, what are you doing tomorrow? How's your car running? I would find out that you had all of the abilities to do what I wanted before I asked for it, so that you kind of felt like you couldn't really say no at that point. And I learned over time to let go of those more manipulative strategies in favor of straight up asking for what I want, knowing the answer could be no. But that's okay, because I can figure out another way to get what I want if your answer is no. I can ask for something different, or I can ask someone else. So if you want to develop a strong game for getting what you want in this world, then the best way to do it is to learn to negotiate like a 4-year-old. First, be clear what you want, because there's nothing more clear for a 4-year-old than what they want. So you have to really have those boundaries of identity of self that we get much younger. We start getting those boundaries, around 18 months of age or even earlier, as soon as we start to be independently mobile. Once you're clear about what it is you want, see if you can ask for it in a way that creates that win-win. Think about the other person and what they want in connection to what you want. What is the container inside of which they will be considering your ask? Do they have the ability to do it? Does it fit for them? And then ask for what you want cleanly, clearly, without any hesitation, manipulation, bullying, or making yourself pitiable. You can apply the 4-year-old's self-aware success strategy of negotiation in all your relationships, at home, at work, and in the wider world. Here's an example at work. You want to ask for a raise, or you want to ask for an assistant to be added to the staff to support your work. How does what you want fit into what your manager wants, or fit into the overall goals of the company or the organization? What can you do to make your request clearly supportive of the goals that the company has, or that your upline has, your supervisor has? And in negotiations with your partner, or your best friend, or your sibling, if you want to go see a movie and they don't really like movies, but they love to go try a new restaurant, can you put those two things together in a way that makes it attractive enough that you're inside their box of limits? Another way to skillfully apply the success strategy of negotiation as an adult is to be clear about your own limits and the agreements that you'd like to make with other people. Be conscious, be overt, openly discuss. Let's make an agreement to do this. One of the agreements I had with someone in my life once was that when we were arguing or disagreeing, one of us would at some point say, "You could be right." And as soon as one of us said it, the other person had to say it too. So we were both shifting an argumentative point of view to a possibility for agreement by saying the other person could be right. This is an agreement you negotiate with someone and then apply. And there are lots of ways in which you can set up agreements with important people in your life, from your supervisor at work to your mom or your sister or your neighbor. Can we both agree that this is what we will do under these circumstances? Is a way to make sure that you don't have to, in the moment, try to negotiate your way out of a difficult situation. So there's just a few tips on how to use the early skill that you had as a 4-year-old to develop yourself into a more strong negotiator now. Get what you want more often and without getting the eye rolls that you might be getting now. If there's something you'd like to ask or point out about this framework that doesn't fit your experience with negotiation, drop a comment and let me know, and I will respond. Maybe even make another video about negotiation. And meanwhile, let's all get out there and be more sassy.